Okay, we've got Cannon paired up with Justin Verlander here. Let's take it through live and see what we got. All right, so let's go back to the beginning for both here. Just one note since you're both throwing from the windup. Um, your feet, let's go ahead and just get your feet half on, half off. Um, just from a balance standpoint, nine times, I know you're on a artificial turf. Portable mound here, but 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a little divot in front, and you probably would do it in a game situation anyway. But you can kind of tell the rubber for Verlander is here. He's got his feet half on, half off. A little tough to tell, but just minor adjustment. Let's go ahead and take it through. Both starting off with glove at the chest height, coming through, anchoring. Let's get it to the, when we're throwing from the windup, compared to the stretch, I mean, usually we want to be able to throw the ball just about as hard as we can from the stretch with proper mechanics. But when we throw from the windup, typically it's a rhythm thing, and you'll see a lot of guys get their leg raised a good bit higher, as you see here with Verlander. We can work with what you're doing here, no problem whatsoever, but we may want to talk about just adding a little bit more rhythm to everything. So let's get him to the top here, and then get you to the top, which is basically here. Um, and let's see what you do here with the backside. Now, I will say that let's go ahead. We're going to do some things to work on getting you against that backside. You can see that Verlander kind of turns his shin and knee away from the target, whereas you are kind of caving yours in a little early. So it means basically just means that we're not utilizing the ground. We want to be able to use the ground, and we'll do a couple things in practice so that you can feel it through your heel and then all the way up to your backside here, so that we can try to use as much ground force as we can. Since we can't get a running start, we've got to do everything we can to build up momentum as best as we can to head down the mound, um, to be as effective as we can from a velocity side of things. Um, you know, Leading with the front hip, something we talk about a lot. You see Verlander here. It's tough to tell from this angle exactly, but I think it's about at this point halfway down that you'll see that this front foot kind of comes even with the front hip. But that's usually a good sign that the longer we can stay closed and lead with that front hip, the more momentum we are generating down the mound. You can see we kind of open up a little early here with that, and then we'll take it into front foot strike. Stride direction seems pretty good for Cannon here. Ideally, it's going to be back toes in line with the front heel as it lands. Let's see, Verlander elbow just below shoulder height, arm angle roughly 90 degrees, maybe a little bit outside of it. Sorry, it's a terrible line. Let's see if I can do it here. Nope, no good with the graph right now either. But head is roughly centered relative to his feet here. Cannon gets a little bit out on the front side. I think again it's a stride length. I think all these guys at this age group can work on that. But as far as arm angle 90 degrees, I like it. And then in a late cock position with the ball, and that way as he's coming through, the elbow will get up to the shoulder height as we go to release. I do want to work on controlling the glove. We'll see what Verlander is doing here. We want to bring our chest to the glove, and then it's kind of that action, bringing our chest to the glove, and then also bringing the elbow of our glove arm down to our left hip as a right-handed pitcher. Obviously, Cannon's here, kind of just letting that flail out a little bit, so we'll want to work on that. Does firm up the front side as he kind of catapults over it and gets the hip through it, because we can see the underside of his foot there. And let's take Verlander. We'll talk about firming up the front side. He really firms up the front side, kind of like Tyler Beatty quite a bit. And then we'll go ahead and take it through, obviously still controlling the glove, and then full hip rotation up and around, up and over that front firm leg. So will say though, this little action, we got a couple kids that do this, kind of falling off to the third base side. We'll do a drill where we put a cone out and get up and over it. I don't like to see that because that tells me we didn't really get a full finish. Um, if anything, we're either kind of coming forward a little bit or even falling off to the first base side as a right-handed pitcher. And you'll kind of see, not that this is a complete focus, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. He kind of finishes up and over and then starts to walk it off a little bit towards the first base side. A lot of power pitchers you'll see do that kind of thing. You would rarely find someone, if ever, that would fall off to the third base side like this. So we'll do a couple things to work on that, clean up some of the mechanics, and we'll be good to go. Good job, Cannon.